Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the finals for Encounter 2. Anthony with you once again, and I will explain here in a second, or actually right now, why we haven't had a whole lot of coverage of the top cut. I'm just listening into something here first. Okay, so I just listening in who goes first. Anyways, in terms of why we have not had enough coverage of the top cut, I will explain that in a moment, but let's start off by talking about the fact we have a rematch from Encounter 1's finals. Ozzy versus Steven, TreadFire versus Gators. Gentlemen, you are clear to start. And we are off to the races. Steven is going first. So Encounter 2 finals, or top cut, has been a bit hectic. We did manage to record the top 8 match between me and Ozzy, which you probably know how that went. Unfortunately, I was not able to cast any of the other ones, but I am taking measures to ensure that will not happen again in the future. We will get as many top cut matches as possible. Anyways, we're going to start off with Steven sending Ironic into Treadbolt for 6 Pierce 1, blocking 5, taking 1. And this should be interesting. Steven is on a slight variation of 5-wide nonsense, this time using Bolag and Peck, since both Arcee and Brawn are out of the picture for this event. And Ozzy is on Captain Jetfire Mill, essentially, with Treadbolt. Picks up an escape route, dropping a mining pick. That's an interesting decision. Turn 1 play, typical flip Jetfire, makes sense. And a marksmanship onto Bolag. A lot of things have been targeting Bolag this event, and you can understand why. That -2 attack penalty from him is pretty nasty. Jetfire will go ahead and swing into Ironic, draw a card from Jetfire, and then we are going to see a Sturdy Javelin get put on top of the deck. So we are flipping 5 here, trying to mill through quickly for Treadbolt. Oh, hi, Mirage. Going in for 6. Blocking 2. Taking 4, halfway, roughly, to being KO'd. Again, you don't have to worry about the ISF plays here, but you do have to worry about Ironic potentially getting untapped with the new orders on the crackback. Very real possibility, but we will see if that comes up here. Because, new orders is legal as wave 4. ISF is not being a wave 1 card. Draw for turn. And what is going to be the play here? Flipping Ayuk first. And then a backup beam on Ayuk with an angle ball on Ayuk as well. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. Sending in Ayuk for currently 8 bold 2. Ooh, that's nasty. That is very, very nasty. Stacking, or did Ozzy choose to stack? He did not. He drew the card, did not choose to stack. 13 Pierce 1. Ooh. Blocking 3, take 10. Jetfire already halfway to... Yeah, I was about to say, Jetfire does have 2 defense in bot mode. Bill thought that Jetfire had only 1 defense in bot mode, from what it seems. So, yeah, just a little bit of confusion there. But Jetfire already halfway down. That is significant. Very, very significant. So what is he going to do with Treadbolt here? Shoulder holster coming down with Bolag in bot mode. That's a bit of a risk. It's a kinetic converter, unfortunately, so does not get the play. Flipping Treadbolt. Does he have anything for an action? A marksmanship would be pretty decent here. Vaporizing the backup beam. That's at least something. Sending Treadbolt into Ayuk. And going in for 6, I believe that is. Taking 4 on Ayuk. We are already looking decent in terms of damage output on Ozzy's side of the field. Because Jetfire and Treadbolt by no means are slouches when it comes to the attack, but early game Treadbolt is just a bit of a liability just because he doesn't really do much else aside from just sit there and hope you mill out quickly. That 5 attack, though, like I said, is pretty decent for an 8-star. So we're moving over to Steven's turn. Crasher, I don't think does too much in this matchup. So, like, flipping her to bot mode wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to get a bit of extra chip damage throwing about. I mean, I basically did the same thing in Game 2 of my match versus Ozzy. Plus, you get a little extra offensive firepower. But at the same time, I think this... Oh, new orders. As I was saying, I think this deck is packing enough in terms of raw attack boost that it might be able to get away with keeping Crasher in alt mode. Maceration Laser coming down onto Ayuk. This is gonna hurt significantly. Oh, we're getting a Peck flip? In case you didn't notice, Peck is hiding over there in the corner. Oh, wait a minute. Crasher may be the flip. Flipping Crasher instead, going for the extra chip damage. And we got a wheel turn. So, 4 attacks here. Jetfire likely could go down. Sending Crasher into Treadbolt. I like that decision. Going in for 5, and Ozzy flips 2 double oranges. Blocking 2, takes 3. Crasher will trigger, declare ranged, and a damage will get fired at Jetfire. So we're down to 9 health remaining on Jetfire. Dropping a Sab Arms for a Pocket Processor. And then Ayuk into Jetfire. Currently going in for 6, Pierce 2. Jetfire will draw a Not Stack. Going in for 9 flat. Block 3 takes 6. Block 3 takes 6. Goes up to 17. One good swing from Bolag will end Jetfire here. And then dropping a head-on collision for a Smelt. Yep, dropping a head-on collision for a Smelt. And then we don't. I forget, we have Peck in the corner there. Bolag into Treadbolt. That's interesting. For 5. 5 blocking 3. Takes 2. Up to 6. That would have left Jetfire alive on 1. But now we have to see if Peck will be able to finish the job here. Going in. I'm not sure who the target was. 6 into 4, whoever it is. Takes 2. Oh, Jetfire would have been alive on 1 on Jetfire again. Steven making 2 very, very interesting calls, and it ends up paying off for him. Treadbolt is now looking significantly damaged. Jetfire is on the brink of death. I mean, to be fair, the deck is 5-wide good stuff, so, like, it's interesting, like, this is a very, like, interesting development in terms of the game's history. Instead, again, I think Steven is, like, category, or, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Also, on the untap, Peck will grab an Erratic Lightning. What's the word I'm looking for here? Steven is really, like, championing, like, the first, I think, real instance, aside from maybe double primes back in the Wave 1 days, of, like, a good stuff deck. Where you just slap everything that happens to be decent into the same deck, or in this case, team, and it just wrecks face. And Jetfire will flip to alt mode, scrapping 3 actions, getting a Nobles and a Handheld. That's always decent on defense. That was off an escape route, by the way. Flipping Jetfire back to bot mode. Playing in Nobles on Treadbolt. And then sending Jetfire at... Sending into Ayuk. We got a reshuffle here. Oop, as I accidentally hit my microphone with my elbow. So going into Ayuk here, I mean, Ironic isn't too much of a threat right now. I think he can definitely tank it, so that might explain why going into Ayuk. But also, like, Bolag's there. I guess you can play around it by putting the Nobles on Treadbolt. I just noticed that. Oh, we got a card under Treadbolt, so extra damage getting fired off here when Treadbolt attacks next turn. And 2 extra cards accidentally got flipped. Easy fix. And we're going to get a quick shuffle here to correct the issue. Going in for 8, and that is a dead Ayuk with only 1 defense, it looks like. 1 defense, I think it is, yeah. So that is Ayuk off the board, down to 4 wide. Peck starts to crawl out of the shadows. Bolag is still possibly an issue. But I think... I honestly don't know what to make of this board. Like, Ozzy is in a very precarious situation right now, because Jetfire dies to a stiff breeze. He has the handheld in hand at the very least to help minimize it, but how long can he keep that up? Especially with a wheel turn coming up here. Smelt coming down. They probably get rid of the shoulder holster here. Yep, that is the call. Makes sense. I mean, you didn't have a second weapon on Treadbolt anyway, so why even bother keeping it around? Especially with well, actually, it's a one-time thing, so wouldn't really matter with Bolag on the field. Anyways, that's the action. It's just a matter now of who does Steven end up sending in here. Crasher into Jetfire potentially could do something and get a bit of chip damage on Treadbolt. But I think, like, sending in Bolag... No, wait, he has 3 attack... Wait, does he have 3 attack in bot mode? Or, hold on. I can't remember if he has 3 attack or 4 attack in bot mode. Off to Teletrain we go. Bolag has 3 attack in bot mode, so that makes this decision interesting. Erratic Lightning on Crasher. Okay, that answers that question. I think. Yep, Jetfire's probably going down here unless Ozzy flips 3 blues and Steven flips no oranges, which there's 1. There's 1. Okay, so 7. This is potentially blockable. 7 blocking 5. 7 blocking 7. I think he's alive. Take 1. Where's he getting the take 1 from? Hold on. Wait, what? Hold on. What was the attack for? Oh, wait a minute. Is that a melee orange on Guilty or Innocent? Ah, I thought it was a gator or a shark thing. My bad. Okay, so that attack was actually for 8. I forgot the orange on Guilty or Innocent was trait locked to melee. Whoops. And then Treadbolt will get pinged for 1. Jetfire is now on 2 health remaining. So Ozzy will draw for turn. And what is going to be the move here with Treadbolt? Doesn't have the shoulder holster anymore. Playing a weapon with Bolag on the field. It wouldn't be as impactful because it would just be negating the +2 off of Noble's playing at confidence. Interesting. Actually, that makes sense. It draws 2, so it helps mill through the deck. Now, what are the scraps going to be, though, is the question. He's got a ton of cards in hand off of Jetfire throughout this game, so that is a possibility that he could just maybe, like, play an escape route off of confidence and just try to replenish whatever he ends up scrapping. That seems like the play here. Okay, he's doing math. I think he's just trying to one-shot Crasher here. He's got that 2 damage with Treadbolt. Going in for 7 Pierce 2 at the moment. Scrapping an escape route? Excuse me? Huh? Why would you scrap the escape route? Unless he has another one in hand. I mean, he just reshuffled, so it is a possibility. And Nobles is the other scrap, and the action is armed to the teeth! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Hold up! I forgot this card was in the deck. Now I gotta look at Bolag. When an enemy is upgraded with... Oh, how does this work with Bolag? How does Arm to the Teeth work with Bolag? Ooh, this is interesting. Oh, he doesn't actually play anything off Arm to the Teeth. I think it's a You May effect. Hold up. Going into Crasher, shooting Crasher for 2. Going in for 9. Blocking 0, -1 from the Erratic Lightning. That is a dead Crasher. You may play any number of weapons onto your characters. Ozzy with a misplay there, burning the Arm to the Teeth while Bolag is on the field. And now that question is on our mind, I'm going to go into rule exacts that question. With what just happened in the finals in mind, what happens if you play multiple... Oh, wait a minute. I just answered my own question. I think it triggers for each instance. Actually, yeah, I'll just confirm. Just to confirm, does Bolag trigger if multiple weapons are played at the same time on the same character? Photon Charge onto Ironic. Flipping Peck to bot mode for Bold 1. And Jetfire is the target here. Sturdy Javelin on top of the deck. So currently 8 is the swing with 3 defense. That is a dead Jetfire, I think. We are going to get a cut here. And one more for Bold from Peck. And then Treadbolt will take a damage off of the Photon Charge. And then dropping a Bashing Shield for a backup beam in the event that this game goes another turn. And then Bolag going in for 4, 5, 6, 7. Blocking 4. Taking 3. I think that's a dead Treadbolt. That is a dead Treadbolt. And Steven takes game 1. Okay. Gators are a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Gators are a problem. And now we are going to move into sideboarding here. Oh, and apparently Ozzy was going to drop a bunch of multi-missile pods with that Arm to the Teeth, but then forgot that Bolag was, or I'm not sure if he forgot Bolag was on the field. I didn't hear that. I'm just making an assumption here that he forgot Bolag was on the field, but knowing him, he probably didn't, because he is one of the best players in the game right now. I think that's, I think with this event, I think this is his 4th straight finals appearance, going back to Encounter 5 of Season 1, because then he was second place in that, second in the OI, second in Encounter 1, and now he's in the finals here. He's on his 4th try for this. And I think we're going to be seeing a sideboard on Ozzy's side of the field. We will not be seeing it for Steven, and I'm just going to go ahead and, yep, there's Thrust. This is what I expected, to be honest. He's been siding out of Treadbolt in Game 2 fairly regularly this event, so we are off to Thrust on this. And while we are waiting for sideboarding to conclude, we might as well take a moment here to talk about the next major competitive event, Encounter 3. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get the card up there. There we go. Okay, modern technology sometimes, you know. Now, this encounter, of course, was running on even number waves, this being Encounter 2, so players haven't yet had a chance to react to the developments from Encounter 1, and Encounter 3 will finally allow players to do so with all legal waves being available once again. Will Steven continue his winning ways after his breakout victory in Encounter 1 and his finals appearance in Encounter 2? Will Ozzy bring Soundwave, and if so, can he win the encounter on well, basically, his 3rd try with that deck? He's got a shot to win it here. He could go for a back-to-back in that situation. Can Naga and Vangelis redeem themselves after their crushing defeats in top 4? Will Devastator and Metroplex return to terrorize the format once more? Will I make it past top 8 for once in my goddamn life? We'll find out when Encounter 3 begins in a couple of weeks after the conclusion of the next 2 losers event. And I just realized I phrased that horribly. It is not going to start in a couple of weeks. It's going to start a couple of weeks after the next 2 losers event. And you can watch all of the action of Encounter 3 and the next 2 losers event, which is starting a couple of weeks after the conclusion of Encounter 2, right here. Or you can join the Discord server to know when the registration link goes live, so you can make your mark on the history of the TFTCG. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat here. So there's the link in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is in the description. So again, next event is the next 2 losers event, and then the first competitive event after that is Encounter 3. And there is definitely some stuff that happened in Encounter 2 that's going to have an impact on that meta. So stay tuned over on the main channel for a video discussing the developments that this event will have on Encounter 3. So we're going to go ahead and start with Ozzy going first here, flipping Jetfire. He is just going to probably try and punt Bolag here if I had to take a wild guess. That is something you very much want to do. And then sending Jetfire into Ironic, excuse me? Bolag is right there! I am very, very, very confused right now. Not stacking. Also, Thrust getting tapped here. Going in for 9. Block 2 takes 7. So Bolag would be alive with 4 health remaining. Honestly, okay, I think I understand the logic behind this now. So he's essentially setting up a board where Ironic cannot be the primary blocker because he'll just be KO'd. So he's forcing Steven to send in either likely Ayuk or Crasher and get a bit more damage around the board so his multi-missile pods are set up later in the game. I'm guessing that's what the move is here. Okay, that might backfire horrifically as Ironic is now attacking for 8. Power Punch, yeah, this is an 8 attack. This is an 8 attack Ironic, no question about it. This is going to be very interesting, trying to just make sure that Ironic doesn't do anything funny, and now we have this. And Steven is thinking long and hard about what to do here. Into Jetfire. And then stacking a handheld blaster off of Jetfire's ability. And the attack, there is a blue, so the plus bonus is activated. $13, Pierce 2 is the swing. Blocking 6, taking 7. Decent swing for the first turn, I'd say. Dropping a Bashing Shield for a Processor. Like that move. But now we have a wheel turn. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized it was a wheel turn, so I'm not sure if the blocker thing made sense earlier. Once again, it now makes sense why I do not make it out of top 8 usually. Crasher into Jetfire. Stacking a shoulder holster. Oh, and then flips 2 oranges. Oof. Going in for 5 Pierce 1. Or 4 Pierce 1, excuse me. Takes the Pierce 1. Sending Ironic into Jetfire. Stacking a Kinetic Converter off Jetfire. 4 Pierce 1. Taking 1. Dropping an Armor Axe for a shoulder holster. Or no, that wasn't a shoulder holster. Soldier's Blaster. I don't know why I thought shoulder holster. And then Bolag into Jetfire. Have you noticed a pattern yet? Not stacking with Jetfire. And for 5, blocking 3, take 2. Up to 11, so we're past the halfway threshold. And then sending Peck into Jetfire. Not stacking. Blocking 3. Going in for 4, taking 1. Up to 12. And then untap, we get to recover an orange icon card, though I'm not too sure. Bill, do those cards that were just flipped count towards Peck's ability, or am I misreading this? Is Bill in the room anymore? No, he is not. Ah, crap, sorry. Okay, because the cards in the... Okay, so I had to cut away here because it was at this moment that the fire alarm decided to go off in my building, so I had to GTFO. Thankfully, nothing serious happened. Everybody was let back in within a few minutes, but I have cut that portion out of this replay. So let's go ahead and jump to when that happened. Okay, sorry about that. Had a little situation with the fire alarm happen, so I had to kind of quickly just turn off the mic, boogie. But we are back to the game. Power Punch was recovered off of Peck, and now we are final world's longest wheel turn, I guess. Now, let's hope this does not happen again. And for those of you wondering, I will cut that bit out in editing. So, what is going to be the play from Ozzy here? He's got free range to just snipe anyone he wants. Javelin coming down onto Thrust. Now, Thrust isn't melee, so that indicates Thrust is attacking? Wait, no, you flipped Ironic, so... Yeah, he should be in alt mode. Okay, so we had a bit of confusion there with what mode Peck was in, but considering the fact that Ironic flipped for turn, Aya could not have been in bot mode. And in terms of the upgrades, we see a Armor Axe and a Kinetic Converter. And then 3 actions get scrapped. He has been 2 for... Or he's had 2 of those where just only 2 upgrades. And Thrust looks to be the attacker. Oh, wait a minute. Ironic has 9 health. I see what... Wait a minute. If Ironic has 2 health, why didn't he just put the Javelin on Jetfire? And just, like, send him into Bolag or something? Thrust into Bolag, throwing the Javelin at Ironic. Okay. I was getting a little confused there with what Ozzy was trying to say. He got his characters jumbled up there, but all is resolved at the end of it. And 4 blocking 2 takes 2. And we will go over to Steven's turn. Flipping Bolag. So the minus attack penalty is online. That could be a problem for Jetfire very quickly. Yep, we just had a camera disconnection. And we're just going to keep it like this. Okay, so I've had an issue now. Steven's had an issue now. What's going to happen to Ozzy? I just had to jump in there and make a joke about that, because I had the fire alarm situation. Steven's camera turned off. I don't want to know what might happen to Ozzy if something happens to him in this game. So, what is Steven going to do here? He flipped the leg, so... Action and upgrade are still on the table. Processor on Peck. Seems decent. Already flipped Bolag, so you're probably sending Ayuk in, if I had to take a wild guess. Because you really don't want to send in Crasher in alt mode in this matchup. Secret action coming down. Ooh, haven't had one of those in a while. Oh, sending Crasher. Interesting. For 5. Block 3, take 2. Oh my god, all the how does Ozzy keep flipping 2 double oranges on defense for his non-Jetfire character? I don't understand how he consistently does this. Happened to be like 5, or at least once. No, wait, I'm not sure if it happened during my match versus him, but it's happened twice this set. Flip Jetfire. Vaporize the processor, so much for that. Parma Shield coming onto Jetfire. Jetfire will draw. Stacking a Kinetic Converter, it looks like. Yep, a Kinetic Converter. 10 attack? Blocking 3, or blocking 2, taking 8. Yep, 10 into 2 takes 8. Sab Arms did not resolve. And drawing for turn on Steven's side of the field. So at this point, you have a wheel turn. You'll likely try to gun down Jetfire if you're, Steven here. Ayuk helps with that. A backup beam here would be nice. We're getting a cut of Ozzy's deck. No cards underneath anybody because Treadbolt is not on the field. Power Punch on Ayuk. Oh, that's the next best thing. And what will be head-on collision on Peck? This card just continues to haunt me. Ayuk, Bold 3 into Jetfire. And stacking a shoulder holster off of Jetfire. Nine attack. Blocking 6. Take 3. Up to 15. So at this point, I think the attack order, you send Peck into Jetfire and then send in Bolag into Jetfire if he's still on the field. Dropping a Polydermal for a backup beam. Interesting. I mean, that would make sense in this situation, especially with Power Punch falling off here. Sending Bolag in first. That's a decision I don't necessarily agree with, but I mean, hey, Steven's in a pretty good position right now, so who am I to question it? Already, going in for 4. Blocked. Peck into Jetfire for 6 so far. Dropping in Armor Axe for Scoundrels from that last attack on Ozzy's side of the field. And then Peck. And then we are getting a Jetfire stack here. So anyways, so a card still gets stacked off of Jetfire. Blocked. Takes, oh wait, takes Pierce 1. So that decision with Bolag didn't come back to bite him, which is interesting. Dropping a Confidence for a Nobles on Ozzy's side of the field. We got a reshuffle here. Then we have an untap. And then grabbing a Power Punch that was in the scrap from Peck. And the cuts. So there was, now that Power Punch was higher up in the scrap from the flipped cards, but there was a copy in the scrap, so this is completely fine. So now at this point, Bolag has 2 damage on him. You could reasonably one-shot him with Thrust and Jetfire, but then you gotta worry about Ayuk on the crackback, so this is an interesting position that Ozzy is in right now. Do you just try and get Bolag off the board, and then have to suffer the wrath of Ayuk, or do you use Thrust as a chump blocker and then try to pop whoever Frank sends in with Jetfire just on his own, which he has the Parma Shield, so it is possible, but that -2 attack on Bolag could be a bit of a problem. Escape route to grab a... Well, that's about as good of a flip as you could have asked for. Mining Pick, Missile Pod, improvised handheld for Jetfire's triggers. That is Very much a great flip off of that. And we still have the flip for turn here. Flipping Jetfire up to bot mode. Javelin on the thrust, so that indicates thrust is attacking. Throwing the Javelin at Crasher, and thrust has -2 attack, I just realized, from bow lag. -2 from bow lag. And then one blocking one, taking absolutely nothing. And Steven will draw for turn. So, what is the move here from Steven? Oh, we got another camera cutout. And we're back. Okay, we are back. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. So you don't have a wheel turn here. Do you save Ayuk for trying to get Jetfire off the board? I mean, this is a very, very interesting situation that Steven is in right now. Because if you send Bolag in, that potentially opens Jetfire to just nuking him. If you send Ayuk in, there's your big power hitter gone for the turn, over the round. Then flipping Peck to bot mode. Erratic Lightning on Peck. That helps. Going into thrust. Oh, that helps. Okay. So that is 11 blocking 5, taking 6 up to 8. Oh, Steven may very well be able to get the kill on thrust this turn and potentially knock out Jetfire in the process. Needs some good flips from both Bolag and Ayuk. The problem is, who do you send in? Oh, wait a minute, it's a wheel turn. It's a wheel turn, so he's sending in Peck as a chump blocker to ensure that both of those stay alive. I don't think he thinks he needs the, I don't think he thinks he needs the recovery of Peck anymore. He just needs to get damage on thrust, and yeah, I definitely agree with this decision now that I see it play out. So what does Ozzy do in this situation? You don't have any direct damage, cheap kills that you can just get. So you really have to hope that Steven really isn't packing too much for the next turn. Multi-missile pod, I mean, it's nice, but is it going to do anything? Because thrust is tapped, and Steven's got a wheel turn here coming up, so... this is a very odd board state. Very, very odd. Marksmanshiping Ayuk. Interesting. And then sending Jetfire into Peck, drawing a card. Will he put a card on top of the deck? Decides not to. Going in for 8, it appears. Yeah, 8 with a reshuffle. So we are going to let the reshuffle happen. Alrighty, and Peck is off the board. It was a no-doubter with the Erratic Lightning on the field. So Steven will go ahead and draw for turn. So he's got a wheel turn here. Each of these attacks has to kill one of the characters. Aya could probably do it on her own. Power Punch helps. Fight for position. Why are you putting both of the boosts on the same character? That is a very risky decision. I do not agree with that at all. Honestly, in my opinion, you put the Fight for Position on Ayuk still, but you put the Power Punch on Bolag. Attack, 12 blocking, 7 takes 5, and that is a dead Jetfire. So now Bolag gets to swing in after greens. And you got a Maceration Laser and a Smelt there. Dropping the backup beam for the Maceration Laser, which should ensure game next turn in theory. And Bolag will go ahead and go into Thrust. For 4, blocking 4. I think Steven might have this still, actually. Hold on. With Jetfire gone, Thrust could still flip to bot mode, do some damage, but then what are you defending with? Drawing for turn on Ozzy's side of the field. Well, like, a Parma Shield is probably the best thing he could have right now. Odds are he has one, but we'll see. There's a second multi-missile pod. So sending Thrust. Okay, so 3 damage to everyone gets tossed out. So up to 5 on both of them. And you got a 1 attack Thrust. And going into Ayuk. Oh, hi, Mirage! So 1, blocking 1 takes nothing. And I think that's game. Unless Ozzy just flips miracles on defense. Oop, I accidentally hit the mic. Maceration Laser on Ayuk. Fight for position on Ayuk. There's the Pierce 2. Needs 1 more Pierce to guarantee the kill. And then sending in Ayuk. And there it is off of the Guilty or Innocent. And we're waiting for confirmation. Alrighty, waiting for the official confirmation. Because base 2, bold 2, white... there's technically 1 more flip here. And there's the confirmation. Thrust is gone, and Stephen Moss, back-to-back encounter champions with 5-wide good stuff in both events, and both wins over Ozzy. 4 straight finals losses in a row for Ozzy. What? Good God. He is going to be coming out with a vengeance in Encounter 3. I just know it. But yeah, wide decks are a thing now. That is going to be an interesting discussion. So, once again, Stephen Moss on a combination of Gators and other support. 5-wide wins 2-0 over Ozzy, and TreadFire with Thrust as the swap out. I've got to end this pretty quickly just because I've got other things I need to take care of. But that will do it for the coverage of this event, despite the fact the Top Cut was not covered as much as I would have liked it to. Hopefully you did enjoy what you saw here throughout this event. If you did, there's a little purple button you can push down below to show that, or if you're watching the YouTube re-upload of this, there's a little red button you can push down below to show that, and we will be back for the first 2 losers event of this season, the 3rd overall, to bring some more Transformers TCG action with some underplayed cards. Should be a good time, especially with some new ban lists that were introduced for it that ban certain powerhouse characters that have just been a little too cheesy for the format in terms of, actually bringing them. But that'll happen in a couple of weeks, and for now, that will do it for this broadcast. Peace out, y'all.